Hello everyone, LMP back again, and I think I've chosen to stay with that channel name because I can't think of anything else. So I've never done one of these before. I've done Hornby Thomas reviews, obviously, but I've never done one where I've opened the actual engine on camera. So this is going to be like a first impressions sort of video as well, because I've actually never had my hands on this item before. So by the title, I think you know what this is. I've been very excited for this look, so let's get right into it. Okay, now I got this from Model Railway Emporium, which is actually where I got my Toby model from like 2 or 3 years ago. So, oh, you can actually send in engines. I might do that actually, because I have some things I need to get rid of. So cool stuff. I would recommend from them. Sometimes the prices are high, but they do premium stuff. So. There she is, Hornby Emily. So you see here, R9231 Emily. Then on the back you have all the other characters, like James, Gordon, Bill, Ben, Toby, Doug, Thomas, Percy, so on and so forth. And it says this came out in 2005, so that would be season 9, which makes sense. So let me just open her up. I've always wanted this model. Alright, and there are holes in the back, so let's get a tender out. Wow, that's actually really heavy. So, I think the only... oh, the coupler's bent. There we go. I think the only downside really is the plastic wheels. But, oh, and there's one thing missing. The fake coal load is missing, but I'm planning on making a more realistic coal load. Since this is open, I can put, like, real coal in there. Metal buffers. That's so cool. And you can see that the tender connects differently. We can get Emily out now. Through the holes in the back. Ah, there she is. There's Emily. Look how great this engine looks. That's so nice. People criticize the Hornby Emily often because it's not based on a Sterling single, but the Dean single looks even cooler because, in actuality, this is probably as close as you could get if we had an Emily in real life. And look at the face on this. It's got a bit of a something on the forehead here. I always clean my engines whenever I get them used, but obviously I just opened her. There you go. Look at that. Look how good the face is on that. Some of them look kind of odd, but this one looks really good. Like, look at the front profile. It almost looks like a lady, kind of, with the tall funnel. Wow. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to clean the wheels or not, because obviously I just got this model. But look at the in-cab detail on this one. That's one thing I love. Is I think Emily's the only Thomas model that has painted in interior detail. My other tender engines do, but it's because I did it myself. But this, obviously, she already has it. So I'm really excited to have this one. I paid a fair amount for this model. I think I paid like 224 bucks for this engine, which seems like a lot of money. And first of all, she's an extremely rare model, and usually I would not pay that much for a Thomas Loco, but there was an Emily on a website for $45, and it was like, you know, really good. But I tried ordering it, and it was just like this huge scam, and it paused our credit card. So if you ever see a website where they're selling Emily for like around 45 bucks, like 37 to 45 bucks, just don't go for it. I think the website starts with like, God, I can't remember. It's just like, it's an all white like page, and I don't know, like there's different languages and stuff. It's just a really sketchy site, so don't order from there. So I think for those who are my overseas viewers, I think it's about 186 quid, 180 quid or something like that. So I mean, it's expensive, but she's an extremely rare model. I don't think they sold her for very long. underneath it's dated 2006. I'm being careful with this because there's pickups going down, and I'm trying to be as careful as I can. It's a very detailed model. 2006. I don't know if you can see that. I think I read somewhere that she was supposed to come out in 2006, but didn't come out till 2008, which is funny because the box is dated 2005, so the dates are like 3 years off. But I don't know how much she's been used. She looks pretty new to me, but after this video, I am gonna have to do some dusting on here because I have a feeling she's been sitting in that box for God knows how long. And let me go over some of the criticisms that people have with this model. People don't really say much about the tender, although it doesn't have this little bit here, but I think the tender's pretty much like really good. I don't really have a problem with it. It's obviously based on an engine from, I think it was the 1800s, late 1800s. You can tell by the, what is it? Like the big spoked wheels. But it's mainly the fact that she doesn't have side rods. Because as you know, Emily has a big side rod. And I have a Bachmann Emily. And if you want to see a Bachmann versus Hornby Emily video in the comments, just let me know if you want to see one in the comments. Because I have both. So, and I like them both the same. This doesn't happen very often, but with Edward and Emily, I like their Bachmann and Hornby counterparts the exact same. So I will be keeping my Bachmann Emily unless something happens where I have to get rid of it or sell it or something, but I plan on keeping her for now. Also, I just noticed that this is looks kind of silver when I think it's gold, but that could be due to age or I'm just remembering it wrong. But there's her safety valve, or as the TV show would call it, a whistle, because I got it incorrect. And then these, I believe those are her whistles. I know that's her safety valve. But, oh, and the black wheels people get onto. Hornby does this thing like they did on Spencer, where they make the driving wheels black, and I think that looks really cool, because in reality, if Emily were real, I'm pretty sure she'd look a lot like this. And I just think, like, it's, I see trains a little bit differently, or locomotives a little bit differently. She's a more royal, like, this looks like a royal looking engine, you know what I mean? Because the Dean singles are only ever used in Hornby for, like, limited edition models or limited production models. So that already makes Emily really rare, but it adds to the sort of, she's a really British looking steam engine. So she's actually pretty heavy. She's a lot heavier than I thought. She's loco driven, but her tender for having plastic wheels, which isn't the greatest, but I have rolling stock with plastic wheels. You just gotta clean your track. It has a fair amount of weight. I'm wondering if this was modified in some way. Maybe someone put more weight in this. If they did, thank God for them doing that. But yeah, stunning, absolutely stunning engine. I'm gonna give her a run in a second, and I'll put her next to the Bachmann Emily so we can do a quick compare and contrast. Because if y'all want me to do a full video on Hornby versus Bachmann Emily, I will do that. But I'll just do a quick comparison because I can tell that her shade of green is a bit darker, and we'll give her a run. So it'll just be a second for you guys, but it'll probably be like a minute for me. But we'll be right back on the layout on my floor to test Emily. And here we are. I'm just on the floor here. If you might notice, don't mind the crooked face. I usually put, it's kind of like wacky tack stuff to keep the faces on, but I don't have that right now, so it's just resting there. So my Bachmann Emily isn't totally standard. She has, like, I've done the detail on the inside of the cab there and added stuff and changed the buffers and changed the face and all that. But, oh, and I've given her a matte finish. But you can tell that some of the lining's missing because I've had her for a while. But if you look at them, the Hornby one is a darker shade of green, and the Bachmann one's lighter. And that's not too much of a surprise, I don't think. But you can see that there's a lot of black on the Hornby Emily. So, kind of makes the colors, the color palette on the two is a bit different. So I'll take her out of shot so we can put the focus on the Hornby Emily. And this is her first run in my possession. I haven't run her yet. Well, we might add wagons later, but hopefully we're going in the right direction. Oh. And there she goes. She's very quiet. Just gonna try to keep up with her here. She looks really cool when she goes around corners because of the front wheel there. She's actually running very well. I was expecting to have trouble with, as I usually have with most used locos. She's running very well. Very quiet. And there's Toby I got from the Model Rally Emporium people as well. I'll just try to follow her along here. I want to show y'all, let me get to this corner, how she looks when her wheels go over a bend. It looks really cool. See how the body kind of shifts? It's cool. Let's see what her full speed looks like, because I heard she's very fast. Yeah, and yes she is. Wow. Contrast to the Bachmann Emily, that's very slow. The Hornby Emily is very fast. But I heard she's not very good when it comes to pulling wagons, so let's give her some wagons and see how she performs. Okay, I've hooked her up to some ventilated vans, 2 trucks, 2 milk tankers, and a cattle wagon. So in total, it's 7 wagons. Speaking of wagons, I've actually ordered... I'm going to have a lot of reviews coming out, so stay tuned for those. Anyway, let's see how she gets on with these. She seems to be doing just fine. Yeah, she's getting on just fine. Most people... there's a review by, I think it's the Bluey 2. He's an amazing guy, but he said in his review, Hornby Emily can't pull very much, more than 6 coaches, but she's getting on just fine with 7 wagons there. It could be because maybe his was used more. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can just... She has a very British outline, if that makes any sense. She looks very British. Yeah, she's getting on just fine. So, overall, she's an excellent performer. Some reviews would make it sound otherwise, but if you get Emily in good condition, she works pretty fine. She does struggle around this corner, though, I've noticed, because I have my wires hooked up here, and it creates a bit of a gap, so that's not normal. That's just my track, so don't worry. She's struggling a little bit now. It seems like she's getting grip and she's losing it. Maybe I just need to build up speed. Yeah, sometimes you just have to build up. The same thing with Percy. You have to build up speed for a second, and then she starts to gain grip on the rails. And unlike Bachmann Emily, where Bachmann Emily actually has 4 driving wheels, only 2 of her wheels are actually driving. So, yeah, she's not the strongest, but she can cope well with a decent-sized train, decent-sized Thomas train. So if we back her up, oh, she's almost better in reverse. Yeah, she's an outstanding model. Very outstanding. She looks great with all my other Hornby engines. There she is with Thomas, which is my favorite. I would have to say Emily's in my top 3 favorites. And I'm not just saying that because she's a new arrival. I mean, I've wanted this model for years and years. I think it's excellent. She's excellent, Emily. For the people who criticize and say, oh, it's bad because it's not TV series accurate, what y'all have to do is, first of all, loosen up. Second, you have to understand that I get these in the sense of I like the quality is outstanding, and I love the look of Hornby. It's just, it looks so professional, and again, as I'll say it again, I love like the British outline of the engine, if that makes any sense. Like the safety valve, the tall funnel, and the silver buffers, and all that. I love it. So she is an excellent addition to your Hornby Thomas collection. She is expensive. I paid a lot for her, mainly because I was fed up with getting ripped off on the other website. But I mean, she's bringing in. I haven't seen one cheaper than like 300 quid. The cheapest I've seen one go for is like around the price I paid for mine. So she's becoming very, very desirable. Almost as desirable as Oliver. So I would say her, Oliver, Spencer, Murdoch, and Dart are probably the most sought after of the Hornby Thomas engine. So I'm glad to have one. Don't pay too much, but you know, if it's anything around where I paid, that's probably the tops. You gotta pay, like, I wouldn't pay a penny more than what I paid for her. So anyway, she's an excellent model. I highly recommend her. Stay tuned for more reviews coming soon. I've got some tankers coming in the mail. I have the windmill, the Hornby Thomas windmill, coming in the mail to do a review on, which I think is my first building review. And then hopefully I'll be doing something with my friend TrainFan365. subscribe to him if you haven't already. I think he's in my channel's playlist thing. And hopefully he'll be sending down some of his models that I can do reviews and videos on. Thank you all so much for watching, and as I said, I highly recommend this model. And LMP signing out.